Well, she didn't do a whole lot of racing, but Carlene Rouse, actually Guy Rouse's wife, which was my mother's oldest brother's daughter.
Okay.
Don't ask me what kin that is. And we have a car in here that was my dad's that won the race in 1950 on the beach, and it won in 1951. That's the Cherokee Garage car just around the corner here. And we celebrated our 75-year anniversary. We took it to the beach this February, girl. Yep. Got a picture with the trophy out the window. Can't nobody beat that. And that's Dawson County for you again. And right here it says, they wanted it, the NASCAR Hall of Fame some, but it's gonna be here for a while. And, I'm gonna turn this over. That's about all I can tell you about some racing. I'll give y'all some time to ask some questions if you want to. If, y'all got any questions about any of this, the racing part side of it?
How realistic do you think Thunder Road was, the movie Thunder Road with Robert Mitchell? Do you think that was pretty realistic?
Well, it was what they were doing at the time, yeah. Thunder Road's been a great career, and it told a lot of the story of it. Nobody got rich, they was just doing what they could to survive like that. I mean, you seen the house he went to, that's what I was telling you earlier. I don't know very few people that gets rich in moonshine business. You get caught, lose your place, do whatever. Talking out of turn here, but I know my grandpa on my mother's side got caught twice. The last time the steel blowed up and set the woods on fire, so it was the oldest boys, and he would spend a year in jail.
Did many die in car crashes and stuff?
Well, yeah, people died in cars. Raymond Parks' brother got killed on the south end of the county down before you get to Rock Creek. Well, yes, sir.
Did you know who Popcorn was?
Yeah.
You know, I saw the show where he showed how to make, he showed all the tricks to making good moonshine. And then I heard he committed suicide, and they were gonna lock him up after the show aired.
Well, that was a true shiner. He said he wasn't going back to jail, and he didn't go to jail, did he?
It was, I guess you'd call it a friendly competition.
Good.
I mean, people would help each other out. That's just like the trippers, people that haul the whiskey into the shot houses in Atlanta. The guy I worked for was sort of a kingpin back in the day, and when his liquor cars, trip cars would start getting pretty hot, people started seeing them a lot, and the law started noticing, well, this car's going, they would swap out with a guy in Alabama. They swapped 3 cars with him, and he would get his 3 cars, and then it would be 3 new cars. And that's, they sort of done that like that and got the law off of them. And you was talking about popcorn. People said that the popcorn was gonna have to be 18 months. The reason popcorn killed himself, popcorn smoked 5 packs of cigarettes every day. And the federal penitentiary they was fixing to send him to, he couldn't smoke. And that's the reason popcorn killed himself. Now that's what I believe. I got no proof of that, but as much as I know popcorn, he couldn't stand the thought of being without them cigarettes. Back then they charged $1 a gallon, and you furnish everything. 35 gallon cost me $35, but I had to furnish the copper and the sorter and all. And the true craftsmen that built these copper steels back in the day, the sorter was on the outside. They pin-locked the joints and soldered the outside. That way you didn't have, because you couldn't get the silver soldering back then. And this steel right here was made by Hubert Ryder, a well-known steel builder here in, well, he's just right in the edge of Lumpkin County on Ryder Road. But I've been looking for a steel that he had built. I had steels built by just about every other steel builder there was except him. I had some preheaters and condensers that he had built, but didn't have steel. And I finally got in contact with a man that had this built in 1950 by Hubert Ryder. And I asked him, I said, would you be willing to sell it? He said yes. So I ended up buying this from from, a Jones. I ain't saying his first name, but he was a Jones. And he run this lot on Long Branch. At the end of 400, he run, that's where this still been run all its life, was on Long Branch. I him out of it. But, that was big business back in the middle seventies. You made liquor or farmed or sawmilled or stripped cars. Dawsonville was well known for stripping cars back in the days. And, that was big business back in the day.
Any of them ended up in Mexico or they all stayed local? The cars that you stripped?
Most of the time they come out of Atlanta.
Okay, they were
They
still.
come out of Atlanta. Now, I didn't strip the cars. I told the guy I was working for, I said, now I'll go to jail for making liquor. I ain't going to jail for stripping cars. So I worked a while longer and then I ended up getting out of the bed and just went back on my own. Running the old coffee
So it's
shop.
basically tax evasion. It's tax evasion.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
That's why they got out promotion. That's how they got out promotion.
Well, back then, everybody said, well, you can make it if you pay tax on it, but you could. I mean, the way it works today, you buy a license and you're allowed to make it, but now the first distillery I set up, a legal distillery, was right here in the museum. I set that still up there for Cheryl Woods, and she couldn't promote it. We run it for about 2 years, and she ended up, she didn't have the money or the know-how or whatever to promote it like I thought it should have been promoted, and I ended up going up to Tennessee. And, up there, there's a lot of tourists. That's where your money's at, from the tourists.
Was the problem more law enforcement in Atlanta versus here?
You
Because I
talking
know,
about buying them off?
yeah, could you buy one?
My daddy wasn't buying over.
So they just ran from, but if you knew around the stills where you could purchase the still from, if they knew this one guy was the guy to go to, couldn't they just sit on this place and just?
The thing about it, that's just like when they would cut these stills. The federal agents back in the day, if they was real mad at you with these copper stills, they would cut it down low, where it would be harder for you to patch it.
Right.
If they wasn't mad at you, they would cut it up high where you could patch it. And see, they didn't take the steel with them. They would put you out of business. They would put a gash in it, put you out of business. And if they was real mad at you, they would pour your mash out and then bust the wooden barrel down where you couldn't use it. But if they wasn't real mad at you, they would cut your gash up high where you could patch it very easily. And then pour your mash out and then tie your barrels up. And then they'd go off and leave it. And then a week later, you can go in there and get your steel, patch it, and get your barrels out, and be in another holler in 2 weeks to run it again. You try not to get on government land, because if you got on government land, if a state raided you, if you was on government land, they turned it over to federal. And back then, you wanted to be caught by the state instead of the federal. And the federal back then, if you chop down a tree or if that, they'd try to charge you for the trees that you, yeah. You didn't want to get caught by the federal. But it was just, you just went on your land or somewhere where there was springs that was on somebody else's land. A lot of times people own land up in the mountains here that didn't live here. And you slip around and go on their land.